Hello everyone, I am Avneet Kaur and this is the second video lecture of chapter 11, that is Light, Shadows and Reflections. In the previous video lecture, we learnt about light, sources of light, luminous and non-luminous objects, and also we studied about opaque, transparent and translucent objects. Furthermore, we also discussed about shadows and its various characteristics. In this video lecture, we will learn about the construction and working of pinhole camera, and also we will learn about the concept of reflection of light. Let's proceed with the first topic, that is a pinhole camera. For making a camera, we would require a lot of complicated stuff and it would be quite expensive also. However, it is quite easy to make a simple pinhole camera and it is even cheaper. But what exactly is a pinhole camera? Pinhole camera is a simple optical device that forms an image without using a lens or a mirror. Isn't it interesting? The principle of pinhole camera is based on rectilinear propagation of light, that is, light travels in a straight line. But how can we construct our own pinhole camera? It's quite simple. Now let's learn about this. For this, you have to take two boxes, one larger and other smaller, so that one can slide into another with no gap in between them. Then, you will cut open one side of each box. On the opposite face of the larger box, you will make a small hole in the middle. As you can clearly see in the figure A, a small hole has been made. Then, in the smaller box, you will cut out from the middle a square with a side of about 5 to 6 centimeter. Can you see in the figure B? A small square has been cut from the opposite side of the smaller box. After which, you will cover this open square in the box with a tracing paper. I am repeating. In the larger box, on the opposite face of the larger box, we have to make a small hole in the middle. And in the smaller box, we have to cut a small square, which we have to cover with the tracing paper. After which, you have to slide the smaller box inside the larger one with the hole in such a way that the side with the tracing paper is inside. Now, your pinhole camera is ready for use. As you can see in the figure C, your pinhole camera is ready. Now, use this pinhole camera and try to look anything outside the window like a tree or a building. What you will observe, an image will be formed on the tracing paper, which is acting as a screen. But now you would be thinking how it happened, how the image is formed on the screen. So let's understand this. Suppose the tree is Mn. Light ray travels from the top of the tree, M, passes through the hole and strikes at the screen at M dash. Similarly, light ray coming from N travels in a straight line after passing through hole reaches the screen at N dash. In this way, image will be formed on the screen, which is exactly the tracing paper that we have used while making the pinhole camera. But the image formed by a pinhole camera will be inverted and smaller in size in comparison to the object. As you can clearly see in this diagram, the image formed is inverted and smaller in size as compared to the original tree. Therefore, an upside down, that is, inverted image of the object is formed on the screen, which is exactly the tracing paper that we have used. So, a pinhole camera is a simple device in which the image of an object can be obtained on a screen. A pinhole camera can also be used to see the image of the sun, as it is very harmful and damaging for our eyes to view the sun directly. So we can use pinhole camera for this purpose. There is an interesting pinhole camera in the nature also. Sometimes when we pass under a tree covered with large number of leaves, we notice small patches of sunlight under it. Have you ever noticed this? These circular images are in fact pinhole images of the sun. The gaps between the leaves actually act as pinholes. Now let's talk about traveling of light. How does light travel? You might have observed a beam of light coming from a torch in a dark room. If you close the torch partly with a finger or a paper, what will you observe? The beam of light becomes narrow. Light always travels in a straight line. The traveling of light in a straight line is actually called rectilinear propagation of light. You can perform one activity in order to prove that light travels in a straight line. For this, you have to take a piece of pipe or a long rubber tube. Then you will light a candle and fix it on a table at one end of the room. Now, standing at the other end of the room, look at the candle through the pipe. Will the candle be visible to you? Of course, yes. Now, bend the pipe a little and try to look at the candle by using this bended pipe. Will you be able to see the candle now? Of course, no. So, it will be observed that in the bended pipe, we will not be able to see the candle. So, this proves that light always travels in a straight line. Now, let's move on to our next topic, that is mirrors and reflections. We all use mirrors at our home, right? What happens when you see yourself in a mirror? You see an image of yourself, right? This image is formed due to bouncing of light rays by the mirror. This phenomena, in which light rays are bounced back by a reflecting surface, is what we call as reflection. Here, mirror is a reflecting surface. Any surface in which an image of an object can be seen is called a reflecting surface. There are many more examples of the reflecting surface also, like shiny metals, steel plates, utensils, still water. In such kind of surfaces also, the images of the objects can be formed. Here I want to tell you a very interesting thing. Water was the first reflecting surface in which human beings saw their faces. Later, they start using the shiny metal surfaces. After which, a mirror was made for the first time in Italy in 1508 by coating one side of a glass with tin or a silver. Now, what kind of image is being formed in a plane mirror? For this, stand in front of a plane mirror and you will observe that the size of the image formed in the plane mirror will be same as that of an object. Moreover, the image formed will always be erect. Not only this, the left of the object appears as the right of the image and the right appears as the left. This concept we call as the lateral inversion. As we have discussed about both shadow and image, let's do the comparison between the both. Shadow and image are both formed due to the presence of light. However, there are some basic differences between the both. Firstly, shadows are always dark, that is black, regardless of the color of the object. On the other hand, image is of the same color as the object. Secondly, shadows give only an outline information about an object, but an image gives complete information about an object. Moreover, a shadow is formed due to blocking of light by the object, whereas an image is formed due to scattering or reflection of light. Fourth, a shadow requires a screen to form, whereas a reflection requires a reflecting surface to be seen. In addition to this, image undergoes lateral inversion. On the other hand, shadow does not undergo lateral inversion. To understand the concept of reflection of light, you can do one another activity at your home. For this activity, you have to take a comb and fix it on one side of a large thermocol sheet and fix a mirror on the other side, as you can see in this figure. Then you have to spread a dark colored sheet of paper between the mirror and comb. After which you will keep this in the sunlight, or you can send a beam of light from a torch through the comb. What you will observe over here? We will be able to see the reflection pattern as it is shown in this figure. So, this was all about the chapter that is light, shadows and reflections. Now, we will have a brief summary of all the topics which we did in this chapter. Firstly, we discussed about light and its various sources, that is natural sources and artificial sources. Natural sources of light are those which exist naturally. For example, sun, stars. On the other hand, artificial sources of light are made by man and they are also called as man-made sources of light. For example, torches, bulbs, etc. Then we learnt about luminous and non-luminous objects. Luminous objects are those objects which produce light on their own, whereas non-luminous objects do not produce light on their own. After which we discussed about opaque, transparent and translucent objects. Opaque objects do not allow light to pass through them. Transparent objects allow light to pass through them completely. On the other hand, translucent objects allow light to pass through them but partially. After which we learnt about shadows and reflection. Shadows are nothing but the shape of an object formed on a screen due to the presence of light. Then we learnt about reflection, which is a phenomena in which light rays are bounced back by a reflecting surface. Thank you.